The Hoops Dogs are doing work, y'all. They just beat the number 6 team in the nation. And we got a whole bunch of portal news next. Locked on Bulldogs.
You are Locked on Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Locked on Bulldogs, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every single day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel, FanDuel.com. More on them in a moment, but they make every moment more over at FanDuel, the official sportsbook of Locked on Bulldogs, Locked on Podcasts everywhere. Today, we are talking about three things, and three things really only. Thing one, Hoops Dogs win in exciting fashion, y'all. I mean exciting fashion. 82-69, beating Kentucky, the number 6 team in the nation. They're doing work. Number two, we're talking about portal news. We're getting guys in. We're getting guys out. Things are happening in the portal, and Kirby Smart is still king over there. We got a couple of safeties coming in, insane depth. Another wide receiver we talked about yesterday, but it's official today. And then an edge defender who may be coming tonight, maybe coming tomorrow. We'll talk more about that. And an offensive line that, well, is completely new, save for one or two guys that we really saw in the rotation this year. But we're going to start with the Hoops Dogs, y'all. Can I just tell you right now, Asa Newell is him. Santos Surreal is a dude. These two together showed out today in incredible fashion. Asa Newell, Santos Surreal, next to the basket, down low, getting rebounds, defending, and getting putbacks like we haven't seen in some time. Asa Newell, rim protector, coming back from behind to get blocks. Santos Surreal saying, I'll take rebounds, I'll take contested balls, I'll go back up, I'll slam it home in your face. It's thrilling when you have the bigs doing work, and that's exactly what we saw. Kentucky had great guard play. They go on the road. The Steg was rocking, which, by the way, shout out to all of you that are in the Steg tonight. Good on you. Very proud of you guys. But my gosh, it was just work upon work upon work. We told you on this podcast that if guys start hitting shots, right? If Silas starts hitting shots, how many points? 14 points for Silas Demery. Okay. If Blue Kane, who's been absent for much of the year. We saw LeFleur, who's been putting some shots in there. He's been doing great, but we said Blue Kane, if he comes out and he starts hitting shots, watch out. Oh, what did he do tonight? Yeah, he did 15 points. We had everybody in there. And then LeFleur, who had been spotty, hit and miss, probably better than Blue Kane so far, 11 points himself. The bench had over 25 points, I think, when all is said and done. Asa had 17, Blue with 15, Silas with 14. And what I thought, Santos Surreal played incredible game, not just rebounding, but rim protecting and being a force and a presence in there, really getting the guys excited and going within that. I want to start here. The defense is going to be there for the Dogs all year. Again, Mike White's number one thing he brought when he came over was defense mentality. And Asa Newell, when he came in as a recruit, very, very highly touted recruit, going to go top 15 in this NBA draft coming up because he's already said, I'm one and done. So enjoy it while you can. Another Ant-Man type situation. But when Asa came in, he was actually a very, very, very competent defender before he was offensively anything. Now, all of a sudden, you saw the three before half that he drained and absolutely sunk in. And you start saying to yourself, oh, if we get that, if Asa has the defense, the shot blocking from behind, the run you down, contest at half court, and go with you as you try to drive the lane, recovery speed and shot blocking, if we get that, and then a three in your eye hole to end the half, if you're telling me that I'm going to get that Asa Newell all stinking year, sign me up. I'm here for it. Incredible rim protecting, incredible defense and pressure and excellence, but the ball movement with the shot making. That was the thing. Early on, you went to the first time out. I think it was 7-8 or 8-9. Kentucky leading by 1 point. The broadcast, which, by the way, my gosh, ESPN, get better broadcasters. The amount of Kentucky love. Kentucky travels so well. They fly in, but the bus makes it here before then. They drive. Stop. The Kentucky love is disgusting. And if you're a Georgia student with a Kentucky jersey on, like I see so many people, you're Kentucky fans just because why? I don't know. It's awful. But ESPN broadcast was horrible. They were just so unashamed in their love for Kentucky. They said, "Oh, Kentucky's hanging in there." No, don't say it. I said Kentucky off to a hot start. Don't say that. Georgia was not playing well in the very beginning of the game, down by 1 early on, but then they came back after that timeout, and it felt like ever since that timeout early on, Georgia started putting it on them real quick. We leave halftime with a great lead with that shot, like I said. That was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful right before half. We go into the half 31-47, up by a bunch. Kentucky comes back out, and Kentucky and Georgia play even, 35 points each in the second half. That first half was so incredible for Georgia, and it really was the shot-making ability. Like I said early on, not hitting them after the timeout, after you come back, started sinking. Silas started going, started driving the lane. Even when James started driving the lane, Dakota hit that. It was great there. Kane started hitting it. A couple key moments in the game, like I said, coming out of that time, I was huge. The Santo rebound and put back where he's just shaking that rim was a huge added bonus. Guys, tell me you want Virginia-esque type basketball, like old Virginia type defense, hard-nosed, good fundamental teams. That's what you have on defensive side of the ball. But secondly, if you're telling me you want an up-paced, exciting team that can move the ball around, drain the outside shot, get it down to the big man. There was a couple of errant passes, a couple turnovers that really hit. But I thought all in all, Georgia just played the best complete game we have, especially coming off a loss to Ole Miss. That's what I think is so important and so wild to me about this win. Not only was it the number 6 team, a quad 1 win, not only was that incredible to me, but I think it's more important with the timing of the schedule of this. Going to the SEC play, the non-conference is over, SEC play before us, coming off of a very tough loss where the first half was good for a second half, fell apart at Ole Miss. Come back home to the Steg. Y'all showed up and rocked, and we absolutely come back, and we put it to them. We hit nearly 30% from three-point range. An underrated aspect of this game that I got really nervous about, the free throws. There was a couple free throws at the end. When Santo got that 2-shot free throw, the flagrant, he missed both of them. I thought that was really bad. We're actually 76% from the stripe. That's pretty dang good. We out-rebounded them. We had more offensive, more defensive. We had more assists than they did. 4 blocks, 5 blocks for Kentucky, but 4 blocks is good. They had more steals. Turnovers were about same. I think all in all, we showed that we can play up to the standard of SEC basketball, and that should excite you because this is now the standard. And if you cowards don't rank UGA, I don't know what to do. Like, how in the world? M-Dub said it best. Number 6 team at home. Sure, it's at home, but we beat the number 16 in the country. Rank them, you cowards. I will have nothing about it. If you don't rank them, I won't hear from you. You mean nothing to me. We're going to come back after this, talk portal news because, y'all, this just in, there's a couple of incredible things happening in the portal. First, these. And these are, in fact, Rocket Money. Rocket Money is fantastic, and I want to let you know why, because you need to get over there right now, and you need to take care of your finances in 2025. Rocket Money helps you find subscriptions you forgot about and you were paying twice for. Definitely happened to me, happened a few other times to Daniel. Rocket Money made it so easy to track them down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money, a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel unwanted subscriptions, monitor your spending, and helps lower the bill so you can grow your savings faster and better. Rocket Money has over 5 million users, saved a total of $500 million, cancel subscriptions, saving members up to $740 a year when using all the app's premium features. For me, the best feature is, in fact, this: finding the subscriptions, canceling them out, work towards the goals of the future, automatically increase and set aside money. Cancel your unwanted subscription or reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon today right now. All right, everybody, let's talk portal news because this just in. Football season doesn't stop. Kirby Smart is out here doing work. Y'all, like, I don't know how to tell you. Y'all thought, hey, Kirby, we have some problems on the offensive side of the ball. Now, there's no word on Mike Bobo. There's no word on Stacey Searles. I think more than anything else, what Kirby wanted to do, and a couple of these transfer portal additions and subtractions are telling me this. So it's confirmed what I think he's doing right now. And it's not going to feel good for Justin B. Tweeting or some of y'all that get after us. I think Mike Bobo is here to stay. I think Jimmy C, here to stay. Wide receiver room. Look, the drops were unacceptable. Steve Searles had an offensive line that was 14th in the SEC in rushing and gave up a lot of sacks. Look, I think protection at times in a couple games was really key, but they were not consistent all year long. I think we're going to see the coaching staff stay the same. I really do. Now, this is not going to help you to hear, and I get it. But Kirby is in the mindset we've talked about all year. Ladd McConkey, Brock Bowers, number of notable guys on the defense side of the ball gone, other notable guys on the offensive side of the ball gone. I think what Kirby is saying is this was more of a loss of talent than it was coaching. And you can fight me on that. But Mike Bobo did, in fact, have a very explosive offense last year. Was part of the Todd Monken tree. Todd Monken said, absolutely. I guarantee you, Todd Monken did not think that Mike Bobo could do it. He would have told Kirby Smart and would have said, get him out of here. And Kirby would have listened because Todd Monken's working his way to a head coaching job for the Bears. Don't take it, by the way. Chicago hates that team and will not do anything to improve it. So, Todd, I love you enough to say don't do it. I just really think that it's going to be the Mike Bobo show for the foreseeable future, but it's either going to end with these additions we're talking about coming in. It's either going to be Mike Bobo flourishes because we have an influx of talent, or Mike Bobo doesn't and he's gone and done. These are the two options that you have for next year's Georgia football team. If he's in fact staying, which haven't heard anything to the contrary so far. Now, it might surprise us. He might come out and Kirby could make a decision, but it doesn't seem like Jimmy C is going nowhere because he's pulling guys all over the place. Noah Thomas, welcome to the fold. Branch brothers, welcome to the fold. Another notable names coming in this draft or this class. Hello, welcome in. Taylor is going to be that dude from day one. Dylan Bell comes back in. Hello. And many of you would say, well, Dylan Bell drops a machine over there, drops McGee. You're right. First of all, you're right. But if Dylan Bell is asked to be the third wide receiver on your team, not the first, you're doing something good. And maybe not even the third, because Delp, Lucky, Williams, Noah Thomas. You see what I'm saying? The Branch brothers. Branch brothers don't play both offense, but coming in the portal, I think Dylan Bell could be somebody that you look at and say, I'm fine with him being the third down guy going the slant. I'm fine with him being somebody that we get a couple of little end around runs to, because he is a tough as nails runner with the football in his hands. You and I would take that all day long. So I think just big picture, the coaching staff, I think, stays the same. Influx of talent that we lost now gets replenished. And the names I've already mentioned on the outside with his wide receiver group is going to be deadly for Gunnar Stockton. And please, it's Gunnar Stockton. I know Puglisi is the dude. Again, we've had him on here. He's fantastic. But it's the Gunnar Stockton show. Noah Thomas. Hello. 6'6", 200. We talked about him on yesterday's pod. No news on the coaching staff search. Get used to it, guys. But get used to it for 1 year. Either we have a great explosive offense, or there's no excuse left. And this is the best case scenario, I think, for Georgia. I think even with this current iteration, with this year's team, but with a couple of additional aspects of wide receiver and Gunnar Stockton having a spring practice right before fall camp and getting the team behind him, I think Mike Bobo calls this season differently. I think the running attack is differently. ETN comes back this year. And again, many of you are going to say, get rid of everybody. ETN was fine. I think Frazier is the real deal. I think he's the more talented guy. Etienne's fine. And having him back and not going to the draft is only going to help us because he's going to get only better. He's not going to regress. This is much like Zamir White coming back, I think, because Etienne had many injuries he was dealing with. Many injuries. And so for him to get healthy, and when he was scoring 3 touchdowns against Texas. He was making us win. So I think this year's team, but if you add the wide receivers, you don't ask Dylan Bell or Aaron Smith to be the guys on the outside, but rather supplemental pieces. You go ahead and you get dudes who are bona fide studs on the outside in possession as well as speed. And Etienne gets a share of carries with Frazier, where all of a sudden Frazier had to come along. Guys, I really think Mike Bobo's going to be cooking next year. And if he's not, guess what? At that point, we say no more excuses. Kirby, in the friendship, if you have, I don't care who's the godfather of any children. Be done with it. And we could all resoundingly come behind, and we could all resoundingly say, and all 100% behind it. Last thing I want to say before we get to the defensive side of the ball and a couple of other portal guys coming in is the offensive line. Look, we wanted wholesale changes at wide receiver, and the offensive line didn't work so well for us this year. And guess what? 4 starter be gone. Like, they all either going to the draft or not going to be playing for Georgia next year because of seniority, because they have to graduate. Xavier Truss gone. Tate Ratledge draft. Jared Wilson declares. Dylan Fairchild declares. All of a sudden, guys, we have Ernest Green, Monroe Freeling, Micah Morris are the 3. I know that Drew Bobo got time in there, but it was a different sort of pressed into action at the very, very last minute. We're talking rotational guys where Monroe Freeling, Ernest Green, and Micah Morris. Those 3 are back, and those 3 will anchor the offense. Now, I don't know where Ernest Green is going to play, left tackle or right. We saw him in the Sugar Bowl because Monroe Freeling got absolutely handled. So you would assume those are the tackles. You would assume Micah Morris comes back inside, right guard, left guard. You would assume that Bobo's kid does go ahead and get a shot playing center now with Jared Wilson declaring. But you have Calhoun, you have Bo Hewley, you have Daniels, you have Merriweather. We missed on a couple of these classes with offensive line, and we're going to have to rebound. And Stacey Searles is going to have to make his absolute salary by getting these guys up and going in a hurry. But we wanted changes. We got changes. It's a brand new slate. It's a brand new team. This offense, I don't know how to understate this. This offense is brand spanking new. Nothing about last year's team. Again, some names are staying. Etienne in the running back room, but I guarantee you Frazier is going to be the more explosive guy all year long. Gunnar Stockton at the helm, new offensive line and new receivers everywhere, with a tight end room that has one of the best weapons I've ever seen come into a class, into that room in a very long time, ever since Big O, Darnell Washington. I can't compare him to Brock Bowers. That's the GOAT. We're talking Big O, but more basketball ability than Big O. We're going to come back after this. I'm going to talk about the defensive side of the ball and why taking flyers on safety is totally fine with me, and I have no problem with it, and you shouldn't have a problem with it too, and stop arguing with Florida and Miami fan. It's just not worth it. But first, these. All right, let's get to the other news. If you look at what we lost in the safety position and as well as star from this last year's team, there's a number of people that we're going to have to replace in a big way. Dan Jackson, the best safety we had play for us this year, and I know Malachi Starks is going to go in the first round. I get it. I understand. Dan Jackson was better. KJ Bolden comes back. Clearly, that's a huge get. Aguero has already been there. Kyron Jones is going to be in the fold for us. Chris Peel is going to be in the fold. I actually think Ja'Cory Thomas is going to be a dude to look out for coming out of camp and what he does with another year under his belt. I think he is a guy that can come on late, a la Quay Walker, who came on late but really exploded onto the scene when he got his chance to do so. Safety position has been a source of who's going to take snaps and production. Well, enter in Adrian Maddox, UAB. Florida fan thought they were getting him. Florida fan thought all the world that they had this kid locked up. Turns out, who the heck? Florida fans, stop. Just stop it. right now. You missed. Billy Napier isn't it. Kirby came along and he is still king. Really, really wild times to be there. But you look and man, this kid has some good tape and he's been around. He's gone to a couple programs, but if you look at what he does on the film, he's a physical guy. He's able to come downhill. He's got a couple of picks in his career. He's got a bunch of tackles, and he's somebody that you just trust. He certainly has a higher ceiling than Dan Jackson. Maybe not the type of ceiling that Malachi Starks has, but KJ Bolden is back there. And I think KJ starts turning into this, allows him to be more of a ball hawking guy. He was not afraid to come up in the run and put his shoulder into somebody, at times better than anybody else. But I think KJ gets the opportunity to be more of who he's always been. Maybe work on some speed, maybe work on some hip mobility in that. Really turn into a guy that can be that ball hawk, can be the captain of the defense on the back end, but not have to be thrust into it right away, because we got guys coming in that have experience that aren't scrubs, that aren't bottom of the barrel type dudes. And I'm really excited for it. Now, on the other side of the ball, all y'all, I don't know why you guys hate this so much. I tweeted out, this is what a lotto ticket is. Jaden Harris comes in over from Miami. And look, here's the deal. It's not like I'm expecting him to be the answer to our tackle in the alley presence. We have a number of positions that must be filled. I thought Aguero was going to be that guy this year that stepped in. He wasn't. Janelle just could not come in and tackle well and play enough physicality to do something. Now, there was rumors during the season he was dealing with injuries. Kirby commented it on a couple times, but I just don't think he felt comfortable the entire year. Studded kid coming out of high school. We had a couple of guys on here saying that the best guy in that class for Georgia was Jonell. Hasn't seen it translate onto the field. The SEC looks a little too big for him. I actually thought he was going to be somebody that hit the portal himself. The fact that he's not tells me that he's willing to stick it through, willing to get developed, and the fact that Kirby's already talked to him and said, no, I know we're bringing in safeties, but you have a place on this team. You have a very real shot of doing something on this team. That's speculation. I don't know what Kirby said to him, but that's what I'm gathering from not being in the portal. Maddox coming in, Jaden coming in. Like, we're adding depth and lotto tickets because it's depletion. It's war by attrition right now. In the NIL, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to find pieces to support the top tier guys you have. Now, barring what happens at the edge, which come back tomorrow and talk to me about the edge. We're hearing word and we're hearing understanding. The edge may not be a need for Georgia for much longer. So just come on back for that. But if you look at what this NIL is doing, it's to supplement, it's to back in. We thought a lot of top-end talent was going to flee, or top-end talent was going to stay. Back-end was going to flee, and we're going to kind of get pieces to maybe add some depth. That's what you do at the safety position. That's what we've been doing, and Kirby's going to get the best three because we play that star position up at the line, and we saw Malachi do something different. We saw Aguero try it. We saw KJ even try it at times. We need three different safeties for the type of defense that we are running. That's going to be key for us. But also, I think what this year has shown me about Kirby is he's not just looking for depth and he's not just looking for pieces to round out. He's looking for impact guys. Now, that can't be a solution long-term, but it can begin to be a solution in the short term for a couple of shots you take. Now, does it mean that you lose out on some of the guys that you can't really pay, that you thought trust and relationship and legacy at a school was going to be something that you kept long-term? You did. Loyalty is dead, except for a handful of guys, Gunnar Stockton, namely included in that, Ryan Puglisi, namely in that. But I think with loyalty gone, Kirby's going to have to find his shots, be very selective on who you go out for impact instead of depth, because the impact that he wants to do is he wants to get guys onto campus as 17, 18-year-olds and raise them up in the program, develop them within, get the system and the culture into their place and into their head from early on. That's what you want to do, because by the time they're sophomores and juniors, they're leading the team. They're being Smile Mundans. That's who they're being. They're not the Xavier Sories of the world. They're Smile Mundins. They're CJ Allens. They're Justin Williams type guys, Malachi Starks type guys. But if you can't do that, if you're unable to do that because of the war of attrition of everything else, what you do is you go take your shots. And we're taking shots everywhere and more to come. A couple more quick hitter recap. We talked about Adrian Mattis coming in. We talked about a couple other of the offensive guys, Noah Thomas, including Jaden Harris, coming over from Miami. But let's talk about more that we're losing. I'm just going to run through the defensive side of the ball who's not going to be playing, who played huge snaps for us this year. Michael Williams, gone. Nazir Stackhouse, gone. Brinson, gone. Chaz Chambliss, gone. Jalen Walker, gone. That's 5 so far. Smile Munden, gone. Dan Jackson, gone. Malachi Starks, gone. We have a real toss-up of what to do on the back end with the cornerback, because I still think coming out of camp, Ellis Robinson is going to be pushing for that starting team. On the defensive line, we're going to need Christian Miller. Thank goodness you're coming back. Ingram Dawkins needs you in a big way. Xavier McLeod, that was a huge get last year in the portal. He's going to be making huge strides. Damon Wilson, we're going to see if Ohio State does drop that bag, and as reported they are, what happens there. Number of true freshmen might be playing big snaps on the edge, which that's never good. I don't care what your talent is as the SEC, but who knows? CJ Allen is there. Justin Williams and Raylan Wilson, I think, are going to be just fine. We're going to get a whole new crop. This defense is going to look brand new. Next year's team is, it's not your Georgia Bulldogs of old. This is a huge reset button, and I'm just coming to terms with this myself, and I think you should come to terms with this yourself. This is Kirby Smart, boop, hitting reset and keeping key superstar dudes. Key superstar dudes that we've kept. I'm telling you right now, Justin Williams is his. Chris Cole is his. We're going to see where he lines up. And maybe, honestly, I don't know, maybe a little bit of Damon Wilson checking out what's happening is because of guys like that. Jalen Walker was a middle linebacker, but he turned edge, and now all of a sudden he's going to make a ton of money in the NFL doing that, getting after the quarterback and playing off ball on the outside a little bit. But I don't know. Maybe Chris Cole is that reason. Damon Wilson did some things, but not earth-shattering things, not Jalen Walker type things. This defense, brand new next year. This offense, brand new next year. And I think it comes at a perfect time because we won the SEC championship, yes. We made it to the playoffs, yes. But you could tell all year long, we said so on the overreaction to the end of the Sugar Bowl. It was mercy that this team no longer can haunt you and I and steal our joy. Because every single week it was the cardiac dogs saying, oh my gosh, we won, but it nearly took 10 years off my life. Next year, it's a reset year, y'all. Hey, this has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll be talking about basketball, all offseason baseball, because them Dogs ranked 4th in baseball right now. Hello. And portal news ongoing all the way throughout. Every time the news hits, we'll be back to talk about it. This has been Locked On Bulldogs, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. We'll see you guys later.